All right, Julianne Long, welcome to the Personal Success Podcast. Thanks for spending
Thank
time with
you.
us.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So I just want to kind of put this in context for maybe listeners who don't know your story. Who is Julianne Long and what is her mission?
So Drew Ann Long is a married mom of 3 in small town Alabama with one of my children is severely disabled. And gosh, nobody wants that. That's not what I prayed for. If you have kids, it took me a long time to say, okay, this is not the child that I prayed for, but it's what you get and you love them no less. And it just kind of thrust me into a world I had never been a part of, which is the world's largest minority group, the special needs community. People don't realize that. You don't know what you don't know, and I didn't know that. So it's become my life, and it's because of her become my business as well.
That's awesome. And I just to share, I have the parental aspect of this really resonates with me. I have 2-year-old boys, twins, and just thinking about and we'll talk about Caroline's cart here, and I think there's a grocery store that I go to specifically because it has 2 seats in it, right? Because it's just, if there's one seat, then you got to have it, right? Then it's you're either carrying one or you put one in there. So,
or you're chasing one.
Yeah, or you're chasing one, right? And either way, it's just that literally, when at surface level, I thought about, wow, that there's literally one reason why I go to this one grocery store, but you sort of ran into this issue. So tell us, how did you come to what's been known now globally as like Caroline's cart? Caroline, am I saying that right? Caroline's cart, yeah.
Caroline's cart, yeah. So Caroline was born with a severe disability, doesn't walk, doesn't talk, never has. So my husband traveled for a living, and I was home with 3 small kids. Excuse me. So I was grocery shopping all the time, and I would carry Caroline in, lay her in the buggy, use the fun carts. But when she was 8, she outgrew that. So I went to my local store manager and I'm like, you see me and her all the time. We're small town Alabama. I'm sure there is a special needs shopping cart. And he said, oh, I'm sure there is. There's so many varieties out there. I said, okay, so when you see me next time, let's circle back. So that happened, and I had done my own little research at home. I couldn't find anything, but I'm like, okay, well, he's the one who's going to find it. So a week later, he's like, there is not a special needs shopping cart. And I was like, wow, I wonder why. And he's like, of course, I have no idea. So yeah, I was like, wow, I don't understand that. How can that be? So I just kind of thought about it just incessantly and talked about it with my husband. If you've seen Caroline's cart, it is a simple modification. I am not an inventor. I'm an innovator. I did not invent the shopping cart. I just modified a shopping cart, and it was so simple. So I drew it on a piece of paper, and I was like, okay, I'm not the only mom on planet Earth that needs this. Yeah, this idea started out of a need for my own daughter, Caroline. And yeah, that's how it started. I drew it on a piece of paper, and I did some research. There are 4 shopping cart manufacturers in the United States. 4. I took my piece of paper to all 4 of them, and all 4 of them shut me down. I didn't want money. I just was like, literally, you don't know what you don't know. And obviously y'all don't have special needs kids. There's a huge demand, trust me, for this cart. And they were just not interested. They just shut me down. So I then was faced with, okay, so if this is going to happen, wow, I'm going to have to do it or shut up. And I took a big chance, a huge risk, and the rest is history, I guess. Yeah. But it wasn't easy. It was so hard. It took me years and years and years.
Yeah. I think that, it makes, hearing your story, it makes me look in the mirror and think, okay, if I did go to this store, right, and there wasn't this such thing as twin carts, right? Just putting it in my own. Would I have sort of done this? Because I'm like, because let me tell you, all of a sudden, once you have twins, it's like everybody has twins, and you realize, hey, there's this kind of need for this.
Right. Sure.
I'm not sure I would have done that. So I think many listen to your story as proof that one person can really spark international change. So, we started on this journey, but take us on the journey from no to receiving encouragement from Michelle Obama, of all people.
Gosh, insane. So yeah, it was back in 2000, and I decided I'm going to make a go at this. And I just had a piece of paper, I have a college degree. I went to LSU. I worked in accounting until I realized I had to be at home. And I'm like, I don't know how to do this. Would anybody listening know how to take a drawing from a piece of paper to a prototype to a manufacturer to global distribution? Heck no, you just have to figure it out. So trial and error. Michelle Obama's coming, but she's a little bit down the. Decided I was going to do it. No, my husband bless his heart, he patted me on the head and he's like, I will be your biggest cheerleader. But I mean, he traveled for a living. I mean, he was gone just about Monday through Friday. And people say, well, why did this take so long? Well, I'm not corporate America and I didn't have the privilege of going to an office every day. I was a mom first to 3 littles, 1 severely disabled. I did this when they went to bed. I worked on this when I was in the hospital room with my daughter or at the dance studio or at the ball field, just figuring it out every step of the way. So I finally got a prototype in Indiana. My first prototype was $28,000 and you couldn't sit in it, but it got it off of a piece of paper. Yeah.
Yeah.
$28,000. So
That's
there goes the
expensive. Yeah.
entire budget's gone. Vacations are over. We are now we're in this. My husband's like, we just spent $28,000. Yeah, rah, keep going. I don't know. I can't help you. I'm working, but this has to happen. So now that I have a physical prototype, I narrowed the 4 companies that told me no down to 1. I picked the largest, the best, the biggest. They're in North Carolina. I promise you, any traditional shopping cart you've ever touched comes out of North Carolina. So I went back, trip 2, in person. First, in person 1, I got shut down. Here I go. I come back about a year and a half later. I'm like, I'm back. It's still me. I decided to make a go of it. It took me a year and a half to get here. This is it. Kick the tires. This is it. They're like, yeah, we're still not interested. Cried all the way home. And I thought, oh my gosh, what have I done? I've gotten some provisional patents. Every one of my husband's bonuses has gone into this, and I don't have a whole lot to show for it. I had no idea the cost. Had I known, I wouldn't have done it. I'll tell you that, because it was daunting. So shut down twice, and I'm going to social media for this. So I started social media, put it out there, instantly thousands, and I'm not saying that exaggerating. Thousands of emails the first month. Thousands from all over the world. South Africa, Germany, Mexico. I mean, I still have them. I've got a million in my inbox. I still have them all. And they wanted it. They were like, oh my gosh, we need that. We need that. Where do we shop? Okay. Who's got that box? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just have one in my dining room. My gosh.
Yeah.
But that was encouraging to me. It was scary to me because I had, I jumped off the plane and I'm building the parachute or however they say that. But wow, I don't have a manufacturer. No one wants to make this. What am I going to do? So, it's just a little engine that could. And when you are when you have put everything financially into a startup, not only is that pressure and a risk, but it's a good motivator. It's like, my gosh, we
Yeah.
will be homeless if this doesn't succeed. So everybody's like, who's your motivation, Caroline, but an empty bank account was also my motivation. So we were out of money. But I told my husband, I said, the world wants this, David. We got to keep going. And my husband's like, I agree, but we have no money. We are in debt out of our eyeballs. What do we do? I'm like, you know what we have to do. I didn't want to say it out loud. He certainly didn't want to hear it, but we had to take our 401k and invest into this. And everyone was like, you're an idiot. I mean, I knew that. You don't do that. You don't touch that. You don't touch your 401k. My husband had to work, 25 years but we had to have it. So, the risk got bigger and bigger and bigger, but I believed in it from the depths of my soul that this needed to be out there and it would be successful. Didn't know how to make it successful, but I believed in it that much because I lived it every day, for one. Number 2, I was getting encouragement from all over the globe saying, you can't stop this. So finally found a manufacturer in Georgia. Had never made a shopping cart. And I said, well, be good because I don't know what I'm doing either. To get 100 of my first round of carts cost $100,000. 100,000. I mean, now it cost $500,000 to do this. It cost $500,000 to get a shopping cart out there. And that's patent fees and prototype. I had to pay $80,000 for the mold of the seat. $80,000 just for a mold. And that mold only made 1 seat. And then we threw it in the garbage. That was for my second prototype. $80,000. Yeah. And it went $80,000 and it went into the garbage, but I had to have it. So once I got these carts, my first round of 100 carts, which ended up to be 88 because of a fire in the manufacturer. Good times.
Yeah.
I told my husband, I said, we have got to strategically place these around the country. I didn't want to place them all in Alabama. I needed nationwide demand, not just Alabama demand for this to be successful. So I had to hire someone because both of us couldn't travel for a living. So I had one employee. Her name was Rebel and she was fabulous. And between she and I, we strategically placed 88 carts. Now, who bought them? We went to Walmart, Target, Kroger. None of them would buy it. They were like, lady, we're not buying from you. We're not buying that cart. They wouldn't. I'm like, oh my gosh, now we are going to be homeless because nobody will buy these. They kept telling me we only buy from one shopping cart manufacturer and they're in North Carolina. Well, I didn't dare say they shut me down twice. I was like, okay, thanks. I'll reach out, knowing that no, I had been there twice. So we had to go the mom and pop route. We had the mom and pop, the locally owned stores is what I called them. So literally I just Googled for over a year in different states, mom and pop stores that might take a chance on me. And it worked. So we had 88 carts strategically placed throughout the United States to build a nationwide demand, not just an Alabama demand. Once the 88 carts were placed, I was done. I was like, okay, I'm $500,000 into debt. Yes, I sold those. I didn't, oh my gosh, I'd made zero money. I maybe made 20,000 and so I made zero money. I have $500,000 into debt and I was done. So, about a year after all the 88 were placed, my phone rings and it's North Carolina. And I'm like, wow, I only know one person in North Carolina and I don't think they like me very much. Cannot be the manufacturer. It was. And they said, okay, we've been following you. And now Walmart and Kroger and Target, they're calling us saying, we've got rogue moms and dads going to our stores all over the country demanding Caroline's cart. They see it on Facebook. So now we want it. So North Carolina said, it's now time to come back and talk. So my third trip to the manufacturer is when I got an international manufacturing contract. Took me years and years and years because I'm not corporate America, because people never they just didn't take me seriously. So it happened. And now we are in every state. I'm getting to Michelle Obama. I did see, so during the 88 cart deal. So this is I was watching my morning news and I saw that Michelle Obama was coming to Birmingham. This is when President Obama was running for his second term. Okay. So she was doing meet and greets and fundraising. $5,000 a ticket. I'm like, oh my gosh, $5,000 a ticket. I don't have $5 for a ticket. How am I going to do that? So my daughter Caroline was the national ambassador for Easter Seals. That is I don't know if you've heard of Easter Seals. They do therapies. So I called my friends in Washington, D.C., Easter Seals, and I was like, okay, Caroline's your national ambassador. I got to see Michelle Obama. They're like, well, what do you want to see Michelle Obama for? I'm like, she's got to see Caroline's cart. I've got to get in. It's $5,000 a ticket. They're like, well, don't hold your breath. They got me 2 tickets. So I took my prototype. Everybody's like, how'd you get it? I was a little bit sneaky. Caroline doesn't walk, so I didn't bring her wheelchair that day. I just took all the seats out of my minivan and I took Caroline's cart and I put Caroline's cart in it in the parking deck and I'm wheeling it in. They did stop me at the entrance where Secret Service was and said, you can't take that in there. I said, I'm sorry, my child is completely disabled and this is her means of transportation today. I knew they couldn't tell me no. I got in, I saw Michelle Obama. She was like, what? Just imagine seeing somebody come to your meet and greet with a shopping cart.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this? So I told her my story and she was so gracious and I had pictures of her sitting in it and she's like, you've got to keep going. Kara, it was just an incredible moment. So that's my Michelle Obama story. And that's that was still when I was building demand and still trying to place the 88 carts. So, I know Michelle Obama has met 10 billion people. I promise you, she remembers meeting Caroline's cart. I'm sure still today she's like, I had yeah. So anyway, it was great. Oh yeah. Now we're everywhere. A couple summers ago, we sent a shipment to Dubai. So if any of your listeners are in Dubai, I would love a picture. I haven't been there yet to see them. So it really is everybody tells me it's a feel good story. It didn't feel good at the time. It was just years and years of rejection, of no money, just not knowing what was going to come of this. And if my kids were going to resent me because we couldn't go on my typical kids, like we can't go on vacation because mom's trying to, but it happened. And I'm here today and it is successful. It never gets old. I still work my social media like a boss. I still get pictures from all over the world and it's just so rewarding. I can't even describe what the journey was and where it is today. It still doesn't make sense to me. It was just, it was amazing.
Well, it's a beautiful story. I don't know if you can see the emotion that's happening on this side of the screen right now. It has something to do with the fact that I am a parent, and I just wonder, what is it that happened in man that just made it such, this is like you put your whole life at risk to
Yes, we did. We did. My husband and I are very deep in our faith. And I believe that my daughter, Caroline, was ordained and the Lord knew she would be special needs. I didn't. The Lord knew I didn't want it, but he said, if you're faithful, I'm going to use her in a mighty way. Was that an easy, mighty way? Absolutely not. I mean, so many people think, oh, I believe in God. It's going to be easy life. Wrong. But it is rewarding. So I do believe that God ordained this child to leave an earthly legacy. The world looks at her and would say, she's garbage. She can do nothing. She's 25 and she wears a diaper. She's tube fed. I have a baby, but I'm proud of her. I am proud of and my husband would say the same thing, the inspiration she gives us. I am her voice. I'm proud of all my children, but of course, Caroline is different. She can do nothing on her own. So she did drive me. She did. And the other families. I didn't do this just for Caroline. This started because of Caroline. This was for the millions of families like mine that struggle. And if I could make their life any easier, and if that's just having outing at the grocery store, it made it all worth it. I'm one of them. I speak their language. I walk the walk. I know how hard it is. I know. And that's what continued to push me through this.
Yeah, I think there's something that really connects with us as human beings when there are people like yourself who you have this vision and you keep presenting this vision and the world just slaps it down over and over again until almost to the point where you're like, okay, I've sort of succeeded in this vision. And then the world kind of turns around and says, no, we need this now.
We need it, right?
Now we need it, now that and I just think that's sort of a theme I see in a lot of, I've got to talk to some CEOs on here and people who have started their own businesses and people who have made movies that you and I both know. And there's just this something about having this vision that just, and I know you talked about how you were driven towards that, but, it seems like even in the early days, and I get that your husband was so supportive with all of this, right? Is that even he was like, okay, this seems like a good hobby for you, right? You had to win him over.
Sure. A cute little hobby. And now, wow, yeah. And we didn't know. I mean, yes, I knew. I believed in the cart. And like anybody that wants to start a business, you better believe in it in the depths of your soul, because you might find yourself like me, completely shut down by corporate America more than once and on your own to make it happen. I can't tell you what you're going to do is successful, but I can tell I felt like I was alone on an island for years without even a trade free for shade. Again, what kept me going? The financial burden kept me going, but the support of the families. So, I know hard in every sense of the word, but I also know rewarding. And I also want to encourage those, to take that risk, you got to try them out. My husband always says, and he says it beautifully, and I wish I had it memorized, but for him, he would say right now, it's the risk versus reward. We were not okay when we sat down and we're like, we're going to do this or we're not going to do this. We were not okay with not knowing the what if we don't. He's like, I don't want to be in 20 years. Like, I wonder if we had tried Caroline's cart, if it would. We had to know. And we were willing to take the risk of failure to find out that answer. So if you're willing to take the risk of failure to find that answer, go for it. Go for it.
What does it mean to you, Joanne, that you're sort of experiencing the success now, given that you spent years alone on that island, as you described?
Success is different for everybody, for different people. Everybody's like, did you get your money back? We did get our money back. Let me say that the cart, we have been made whole, and the cart does make us money now. But I don't think it's not just about that. It is still waking up and getting pictures and getting emails. If you follow my Instagram, I posted a great video yesterday of somebody in another state in Target saying, game changer, game changer. So again, I think the success for me is because I'm a special needs mom, because I am a member of the world's largest minority group, and I know how hard life is day in, day out. The success for me is just really seeing the help that Caroline's cart gives to families all over the world. That is how I have defined success. Not financial, just the rewarding aspect of, we helped someone go to Target yesterday, David. Look at this video. We helped a family in Mexico. We're in Canary Islands of Spain. Oh my gosh, David, look at this child in Spain using Caroline's cart. That's where I get my success.
Yeah. It is interesting because I think, one of the reasons we always point to, a financial, check mark is because it's easy to sort of quantify. But it was clear in your story that finances or money or however you want to say it was never going to get in the way of this. As a matter of fact, you did describe several times that it was sort of a driver, like you're like, I have to do the responsible thing. But, I think that's not all I hear there. I hear that there was, listen, we have such trust and faith in this.
Yeah.
That, there's no price we're not going to pay to see this vision through. As a way of speaking.
Let me be clear. My grandmother told me this a long time ago, and it's so true. Love does not pay the bills. Okay. You can love your idea. You can love your business. You can love your job. Love doesn't pay the bills. That's just the world we live in. So when we were $500,000 into debt and wondering if we were going to lose our house, that's a motivator like nothing else. And I still didn't know if it would succeed. Remember, I'm shot down twice by, it was very scary. So I think it's okay to be motivated by, I hope this is a financial win. I did. I needed it to be. I think sometimes people criticize that. Oh, about the money. Well, we all have to have it. And I certainly was driven by that to make ourselves whole, to have that security that my husband's not going to have to work till he's 105. And that's okay. That's okay. But that's not where in the business I'm in, I drew all of my definition of success. So many people is, how much money did it make? That's what makes you successful. No problem with that. But I think I live in a different world where some people, I've got a daughter who's 25, who's never going to be potty trained. That changes you, that changes who you are and your perspective on life and how you do define as success.
In this journey, it took a lot of resilience and strength. As you said, it really was a lot of risk that you took on and a lot of faith that you had to have. But what did you learn about Drew Ann along the way?
Goodness. The first word that popped in my head was fearless, because you just have to be, you have to put the naysayers. So many people, so many naysayers coming at me. You just have to push that back and say, the reason you don't believe in this is because you don't live in my world. And I told David, I said, gosh, if these manufacturers walked in our shoes for 24 hours, they might not have been so dismissive. So I think for me, I became fearless. And gosh, I would say any mom of severely disabled child, any dad, caretaker, you got to be fearless, because, it's the journey's hard. And my daughter's been on ventilators more times than I can count and told she's not going to live. And you just got to buck up and have a real, a strong faith. Take every day as a gift, but be guarded, because the punches are coming. They're coming. What's happening today? What's gonna be thrown at me today? And that was the whole journey of the cart. I learned, I didn't expect the hurdles in the beginning, so they knocked me down. But I then woke up every day and it's like, okay, I'm gonna have hurdles today. I'm looking for them. So when you're expecting them and you see them, they're not as scary. Early on, they were devastating. But as that journey went on and I realized this is going to be harder than I ever dreamt, you roll your sleeves up. You're like, okay, come on. What you got today? I ain't scared.
Yeah. Yeah. So Drew Ann, a lot of my listeners are sort of entrepreneurial, or sort of, they're trying to define what success is, in much the same way that you sort of have for yourself. And so I love the metaphor that you used, that you said you felt like for years you were stuck on an island. And I guess you've sort of given some of this advice, but I wonder what advice you would give to somebody who really has a strong vision like you had and feels like they're stuck on that island right now.
Ooh, you need support. Surround yourself with support, because I'm sure if you're on the island like I was, hard, negative, you're probably financially hurting. You got to just have a huge support system for one. And you got to do whatever it takes. I know that sounds very cliche, but before you give up, have you exhausted every single angle? You might have to do something that you thought you wouldn't do, like I did. We never dreamt that we would take money out of our 401k.
Yeah.
So be prepared when you're on that. Be prepared to rescue yourself. Be prepared to do things that you might have thought you wouldn't do. That's what we had to do. We had to rescue ourselves. No one was going to rescue us. And let me say this too. Let me say this to your listeners. So many entrepreneurs out there and a million people have developed a product and brought it to market. Okay. I feel like I'm the unicorn, and let me explain that. I developed a product that the consumer wanted. Millions of consumer wanted all over the world, but they couldn't purchase it. I had to. So here I've got this great product. A million people want it. Could have sold it. Could have been successful. I had to sell to the retailer. I had to come off the bottom line. So my cheerleaders, my support group were like, we want it, we buy it. I had to get my cheerleaders to go to the retailers to create that, to demand. So, I feel like I'm the unicorn of people that brought a product to market. 99.9% of them bring it, the consumers buy it. That was not me.
Yeah.
I always feel like that's important to, I didn't want a listener to be like, gosh, I brought a product to market. It was so easy. Well, you probably sold to the consumer. I didn't have the luxury. I had to come off the bottom. Nobody, Walmart doesn't buy Caroline's cart, mark it up, and then I'm off the bottom line. It was infinitely harder to do that.
Yeah. Wow. That does really put things in perspective when you put it through.
Yeah.
Through that lens.
Yeah.
I just wonder, like, as you're kind of going through all this and what did, community seems to have played a big role. And so what was it like for you to have to ask people to sort of, people would come to you and be like, where can I buy this? You'd be like, you got to go to the retailer. You got to ask them for it. We need to start sort of a movement here is sort of what I'm hearing that you did. Am I off on that?
100% it was a movement. If it wasn't for social media, Caroline's Cart would never, ever, would not have had a dog's chance. Wouldn't have had a dog's chance because I needed that movement, that grassroots efforts. I mean, I'm only one voice. I needed a global voice to join with me to change the minds of retailers. Plain and simple. I mean, it sounds easy, but it took forever. It was a slow movement. It was and we're not there yet. I mean, Costco has still said no to Caroline's Cart. We're in every Sam's, but Costco's like, we don't see the need. So I still do this every day. I still have runway left. I'm not, the cart is huge. Walmart did a nationwide rollout last year to every single supercenter, every single neighborhood market, really just breathe life into it again. It made it huge, but there is still runway left. So without the support of the special needs community, Caroline's Cart would not have made it. Plain and simple. Without social media. And without social media, how could I reach those voices? I couldn't have.
Yeah, I think that's another way in which you're kind of a unicorn is that there's so much negative we hear about social media and you're sharing a really positive story about it. And I wonder when you started seeing that, when you went to social media after all these rejections and you started seeing that there was support, there was thousands of people responding to this vision that you had for the first time. What was that? What was that like for you? What did that change in you? How did that affect you?
Hey, good. Oh, Hugh. I'm not an idiot. Okay, David. I am not. Of course I thought that's what it would be, but until you really get the product out there after I spent $28,000, and I'm in my dining room taking pictures of it, it was relief. It was something that I thought I knew, but you don't know what, you have to have that. So, I was beyond excited because I'm like, I knew it. I knew other people would want this. I knew it. Now what do I do? Oh my gosh, it's only in my dining room and I've got people in South Africa asking who the manufacturer is. I really went to social media too soon. With no money, that's the journey I went. And without them pushing me every step of the way, it wouldn't be here.
What ripple effect have you noticed? Has there been other sort of movements like this that have been inspired by yours? Have you got any feedback about that or have you seen anything like that come up?
I have heard thousands of times over the 15 years that I've been doing this that you have inspired me to do something. Gosh, I'm a special needs mom. I think this would be a great idea. And I'm always like, you sell to the consumer. You got a much better shot than I do,
Yeah.
So I've never encountered anyone else in the exact same boat. I mean, I've never had one conversation in my 15 years with somebody that tried to do what I do. People that sell to, think about the regular shopping cart, corporate America. Think about the mats you wipe your feet. corporate America. Think about the toilet paper, corporate America. Think about the handwriting, corporate America. Think about the baby changing stations, corporate America. I mean, that island was a small town Alabama mom trying to join the ranks of corporate America that took years and years and years for me to be a part of.
Maybe I won't keep this in the episode, but are you in Target?
Every Target in the nation.
Okay, I was going to say, because I had the CEO of the buyer group from the Genesis Foundation, or the Genesis Group, I'm sorry, who buys products for Target on here a couple months ago. That's good.
In fact, we ran 2017, Target did a national rollout. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Good. Glad to hear that. So, if you could kind of look back to where you started, right? Thinking back to when you first sort of had this vision, right? You're talking to the grocery store manager. What is it that you could tell yourself now? You could go back in time and talk to younger you with this initial vision. What would you have said that would kind of made it easier? Is there anything that could have been said?
Honestly, I think I said this earlier to you. Had I known, I wouldn't have done it. That's how hard it was. I'm glad I was so naive. I'm glad that I had no experience, because it was a lot of crying, sleepless nights. After we took money out of 401k, my husband lost his job. So now for a year, he was unemployed. The financial strain was so hard. I'm glad my younger self did not know how hard the strain was. So what would I have said to my younger self? Stay naive, because if you know too much, you won't do it. Be naive. That was my number one. That was the feather in my cap. I really thought I'll draw this out and corporate Americans would be like, lady, that is the best idea ever.
Yeah.
It could not have been farther from the truth. So that's what I would stay naive. That's what I would have told myself. I know that's crazy.
That. I think just the fact that people have some awareness, especially when they're starting out, that they're naive, I think that even holds people back sometimes. They're like, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to look stupid. So there's definitely gonna be something I don't know. So I'm not going to do it. So I love that you just say, hey, stay naive.
That's the truth. That's the gospel. That's how hard this was.
I think there's that kind of age old question, you know what I mean? If you could see the future, what impact would it have? And I sort of get a different twist on that. Like if you could see the future.
See the future, I don't, because the future's hard. I mean, holy moly. Yeah, let me live in Oz over here and just think everything's wonderful,
If you were to saw the future at the start of this, you might have decided to change course. Who knows?
I would not have done it. I'm telling you. That's my husband. He would. We talk about that all the time when everybody's like, "Oh, what would you have done different?" Wouldn't have done it. How about that? Yeah. I mean, we're glad we did it. Please, it is successful. I'm proud of it, and I work it still every day. But I want your listeners to know that I'm glad I was naive. I'll leave it at that. Yeah.
I think it's beautifully said, Julianne. I wonder, you talked about Runway, right? You still have Costco, right? That you're trying to work with.
Oh, sure, yeah. I still have Costco. I still have Home Depot. Home Depot said no. We're in every Lowe's home improvement. They did a national rollout. We're in about, 50 Home Depots. They're like, like my Home Depot here locally has it because I asked for it. But as far as a nationwide rollout, Home Depot has said no. Costco has said no. Costco's been ugly because I have gotten moms that went to like their local media in their town. I'll just say Mississippi. I don't know where it is. Oh, they got a letter from Costco's lawyers threatening them. Can you believe that?
Wow.
They sent me the letters. So Costco has been, not only has Costco been said no, here's a mom dying for Caroline's cards. The only way she can shop with her child. She can't shop any other way. And they send a letter from their legal team to shut them up. That's not okay.
Yeah.
Not okay.
It seems like you're sort of running into the large version of the resistance that you ran into initially, right? It was like people were like,
sure. Yeah.
And now it's like you've got this, what is the resistance? What do you think it's about?
It's certainly not about money, because that's all public information. It's not about money. They boast their profits. You can just Google and they, every quarter.
Yeah.
The resistance. Gosh, I'm so glad you brought that up, because it's I don't know. I mean, you've got electric scooters that are 3 times the cost of Caroline's cart. You don't walk into a Home Depot without seeing 3 or 4 electric scooters. Those are 3 times the cost of Caroline's cart. They have the fun cart. Why are they saying no to the world's largest minority group? Why? If you're listening, Home Depot and Costco, please let me know. Please let me know. I would like to know why. because it's not money. I don't know what it is, but I know what it's not. Let me say that. It's not money.
Yeah. It's interesting to see that resistance, especially with the movement that's behind it. You have to wonder where that resistance comes from. That's an interesting question.
Where? Is it just the buyer? Have I not got to the right person after 15 years? I cannot believe that I would go sit with the CEO of Costco or the CEO of Home Depot. Show them the success of the cart. Show them that we are global. And them say, yeah, we don't need it. That's baloney. They've got special needs in all their communities. And let me say that the second largest user of Caroline's cart is the senior adult community. Not everybody can drive electric scooters. Dementia, Alzheimer's. I've gotten thousands of letters over the 15 years saying I shop with my mom who loves to be out, but she can't drive a scooter. I got her for the day, and I got to go out. She loves Target. She loves Walmart, and I put her in Caroline's cart. So, Caroline's cart even serves a larger segment of the population than I even had on my radar.
Yeah.
So how stores can say no to it really is beyond me when I know it's not money and I know they have a variety of shopping carts for their typical customers, and yet they are saying no to the special needs community.
Yeah, it's almost like, at what point is it going to hurt them to continue to say no to this?
Sure. So I know you have a lot of listeners. Anybody at Home Depot out there, Costco, sure would love to talk to you.
Yeah, I would love to just understand why.
Right. Yeah.
I don't understand that. So especially, the use cases haven't all really been discovered yet, which is interesting,
Right.
So.
Right. And I would love for the CEO of Costco to know that their legal team is sending very threatening letters to customers. What?
Yeah. That's wild.
That's too far. That's not okay. Not okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those, it's almost like fodder for conspiracy theories or,
And just ignore them. Just say nothing. Don't send them a legal letter.
Yeah.
And make them cry. Just say nothing. Wow.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah. It comes across as, don't speak ill of us or disagree with us or we're going to sue you. It's like harassment almost, Anyway.
But we celebrate the wins, and Caroline's cart has, so thankful for Walmart last year, did a national rollout, brought me out there to Bentonville. I got to go to Exec Row. Yeah, and that was about 14, 15 years of no from Walmart. And finally they were like, okay, we'll do it. I'm like, so it hasn't been an easy sale. It was an easy sale for some. Wegmans, I don't know if you have Wegmans. I don't have Wegmans, but as soon as we went to Wegmans early on, they were like, love it. Let's do it. They were the first national rollout. So for some, super easy. For others, 15 years later, no, we don't like it. We don't need it.
Yeah. Drew-Ann, we talked about some of the feedback you've gotten from the community, but what kind of feedback have you gotten that really has stuck with you over the years?
Feedback on the cart?
Yeah.
I just hear over and over, Caroline's cart makes shopping possible for my family. Possible. Cannot shop without it. My son is 16. He's a runner, but he's with me all the time. I pick him up from school. I got to the grocery store. Cannot stop at a grocery store without Caroline's cart because he gets away from me. He's a runner.
Yeah.
Let that sink in. Caroline's cart makes shopping possible. I've heard thousands of times, we can only shop. We will go to the next county over for Caroline's cart. So let that sink in. It makes shopping possible for families. And I think that resonates with me because I live it. I understand it. Yeah, I get it. I live it. I've been living it 25 years. I know what it's like. So I think that resonates. It doesn't get old. And that keeps me going. Me going.
Yeah. So we covered some of this, I think, but what is, obviously your next chapter is to continue to kind of expand awareness of this, that this is available and continue to make the impact. But, what else is next in your vision and how can listeners support you?
I'm glad you asked. So because of the success of Caroline's Cart, my family started a nonprofit called Caroline's Cause. Oh, this is 8. So what's next? When my daughter in 2016, my typical daughter, had graduated, she was going to Auburn University and we were looking for scholarships. So there's a million scholarships out there for so many different things. I really thought, oh my goodness, I wonder if there's a scholarship out there for families that have special needs siblings. And there wasn't. And my husband's like, calm down. We are not we are not starting another business.
Yeah.
He founded Caroline's Cause in 2017. What is Caroline's Cause? In a nutshell, and of course we have a website, carolinescause.com, you have to have a family dynamic like mine. It's a mom and dad, or just a mom, or just or whatever, caregivers, you live with your grandma, whatever. But the typical person applying has to have a special needs sibling. I watched my typical kids, not only during this journey, but during Caroline's life growing up. They take a back seat to Caroline. They know mom and dad don't love her. We all love our kids the same. But Caroline obviously needed 24/7 care. So we watched our other kids just have to sometimes make sacrifices. We're out to dinner. Caroline has a massive seizure. Let's go. Mom, we want to go to the beach. Number one, there's no money. Go play with that shopping cart in the dining room. Number two, Caroline that's too hard. Mom, we want to go it's too, do they resent her? No, they know no different. But we wanted to recognize and say to that special needs sibling, hey, we see you. We know that you've made sacrifices, and we want to give you a college scholarship. It's a one-time $5,000. You apply your senior year, and they have to write an paragraph or two about their special needs sibling. So we say it is a win-win-win for everybody. It's a win for the family because it's financial support. It's a win for the student because it is helping them start their education. But the biggest winner is the special needs sibling, but because they're the only reason you got to apply. I will say that we started in 2017. 2018, my husband had a massive heart attack. He survived. He just, such is life and such is our lives, the hurdles. And we kind of had to put it on the back burner till he got better. He survived, praise God. But now it's what I do. It is my mission. It is yet another legacy that Caroline will. We never can fund all the scholarships. I believe I had 78 unfunded this year. So I am seeking corporate sponsorship. $5,000 is one scholarship. That's not a lot of money for a big company. It's a nonprofit. So somebody gives to this, they get a tax donation. I do not take a salary. So if somebody gives $10,000, you just gave 2 scholarships.
Yeah.
So I'm a speaker. I travel. So people can now hire me to come speak and they can pay my nonprofit. So they get a tax benefit for having me come speak and they're giving to scholarships. So that's what's next for me.
That is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
And so
it's hard too. Nonprofit works hard.
Sure.
Again, I'm glad I'm naive because wow, this has been hard too, but it's starting to get legs. It has to evolve. It has to, there's so many great nonprofits out there, but I do caution know who you're giving to. I love the SPCA. Love them. I see those dog commercials. Oh, I've rescued dogs. But you give to them and so much. They got to pay for commercials and salaries and all the things. You give to Caroline's Cause. Your money is going straight. You give $5, I give $5. You give $5,000. It's a great nonprofit to give. But you are rewarding families that struggle so, and that's what I want to do.
So, Drew, and how can people help with that?
So Caroline's Cause website, you can donate. I take Venmo, PayPal. There's my address for checks. Again, it's all tax deductible, but carolinescause.com. And let me give a shout out to my main website that has everything. DrewAnnSpeaks.com. Just DrewAnnSpeaks.com. Talks about the cart, talks about the cause, and how to support Caroline's Cause. DrewAnnSpeaks.com. And I'm going to plug myself. I do love to speak. I love to travel, get out there, raise awareness for both. And if you hire me, your money is going to Caroline's Cause and it is a tax deduction.
That's incredible. Sue, I want to be mindful of your time here. And if a listener were to take sort of one truth or one takeaway from a conversation today, what do you hope it is?
One truth. Life is hard. Life can be rewarding, but life is hard. We all want to be successful. We all, I think, have a desire to make a difference. So I just challenge people in whatever walk you are in life, just try to make a difference in whatever you do. You may not have a Caroline in your life. You may not even have started a business. Maybe you want to, but we can make a difference no matter where we are in our life's journey every day somehow. And that's what I want to challenge people to do. Just make a difference. Make a difference at work, make a difference at home with your kids, in your community, at your church, make a difference. and figure out how to do that. It's not hard, you know.
Beautiful. Well, I think I've so have enjoyed your story. This is a first for me to sort of almost get tearful and emotional in a podcast, and so I think I almost have 200 recorded, and this is the first time that that's happened. So I just really I feel strongly about your mission, and I'm inspired by it. And I would encourage people to support you and have you come speak, because I just think your story is so powerful, and your conviction and your sort of refusal to look at anything else other than your mission and where you're making an impact is just, I don't know, it's just really striking to me.
Well, I appreciate that. And what some feedback I get when I come and speak is speakers usually come from big speaker bureaus and corporate America, and they bring in the top 10 leadership styles this year that work. And I am a nobody, small town Alabama mom who absolutely just put her head down and tried to make a difference. And I think that's what puts me apart from speakers is I think people can resonate with, I'm a nobody. Not corporate America. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to be a powerful corporate America. You have to have a story to tell. And I do have a story that I think resonates with any audience. And, Caroline's card, I tell people before I speak, well, tell your audience, if they don't know what it is, run out to Walmart. Everybody's got a Walmart in their town. See it, look at it, and then you're going to, and then come hear the story of it. It's something that everybody identifies with, and everybody might be using at some point. We all have aging parents. You might have a typical kid that sprains their ankle that needs a lift during the store. I think everybody can identify with this product.
And what's something that maybe I didn't ask you or we didn't get to talk about that you wanted to make sure that you got an opportunity to speak on?
I love to promote the cause. I'm new to the world of nonprofit. It's also very rewarding. And again, when I come and speak, I love to encourage. I love to hang around after and have the people come up and just tell me, oh my gosh, this is what I'm trying to do. I had put it to bed. I'm like, I can't, you have inspired me to at least give it all I got. I thought I gave it all I got till I heard you drained your bar. I haven't given it all I got. That's what I want to say is I hope people give me the opportunity to come and inspire them.
Well, you certainly have inspired me, and I thank you for your journey and for sharing your journey and for not quitting when things got really, really tough, right? And just kind of committing to it. You're sort of you're a model for us all, and I think that's something that I want to make sure I say.
You're so sweet.
You, I have you.
Appreciate it. And you've encouraged me. I love to do podcast interviews, speaking engagement, because somebody heard this today that needed to hear it. I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe something good, as I tell everybody, I believe something good will come from this, always.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you for having the platform for somebody like me to come tell my story. I mean, I need people like you to help spread the word.
Well, it's one of those things. I understand what you say. It's an honor and a gift on this side too, to speak to people like yourself and be able to share that story. And then, I'll get to speak with people about speaking to you about the story. So it just kind of carries on.
It just, it's so fun to see the full circle moments when I'm out speaking, like, oh my gosh, you don't know me, but I heard you on the radio and I told my boss and here I am. Yeah. So it's fun to see the full circle moments come together.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me this afternoon. And I wish you the best in your mission here. All right.
We'll be in touch. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it.